morning, everybody. I didn't play you guys any fancy music this morning, but this is Quentin Barrett with the Morning Drive. It's a Monday morning, kind of chilly today. It's about, 45, 46 degrees. A little coffee mug making a lot of noise here. But anyway, this is Quentin Barrett, one half of the Pick and Roll podcast. You can always check out the archived episodes of the Pick and Roll podcast at pickandrollpodcast.com. You can hit us up on Twitter, PAR Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at QMB810. All right. And I just wanted to check in with you guys this morning. I had a few days away from the Periscope. Had a lot of things going on around the city, just on a personal level, but back on the grind now. Well, I guess last night we lost another from the ranks of the unbeaten. The Bengals went out and lost to the Houston Texans last night. Now, to be honest, I didn't watch the game. I watched a little bit of the first quarter, and then I watched a little bit like right after halftime. You know what I did was I sat my my oldest daughter down. She plays basketball, so we sat down and watched that new documentary about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on HBO. I had watched most of it before, and I wanted to finish it, but she didn't watch it, so we just ran the whole thing back. And it was a great documentary. If you haven't seen it yet, I really recommend it highly. I'm a big fan of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's just such an interesting guy with an interesting story, and just to watch them chronicle his life around the game of basketball and away from the game of basketball, it was just interesting. But what I wanted my daughter to see was sometimes. You don't get the perspective of the way the league used to look, and some of the majesty that was involved in some of those big time matchups, especially once Kareem became a Laker. To see those guys come into the stadium and to look at the crowds, also to look at the crowds that used to come out to basketball games when he was a high school player, when he was a college player, discussing with her, what it meant. For him to play for John Wooden and how important he was for a lot of basketball players and just people in general over the years. It was just interesting for her. And what I thought was interesting was a lot of the things that they did for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a lot of the things that they did for Wilt Chamberlain, they did for, modern day, you'd say LeBron James. And, we're very quick to lose perspective, especially when it comes from a history standpoint, where these things were happening not only no longer than maybe 50 or so years ago. What's going on, Wisconsin? I'm in Flint, man. These things were happening 50, 60 years ago, and it was really the same thing. But the fact that we live in the age of media now, so it looks bigger, it looks more special, it looks a little more obscure, but it really wasn't. The decision might have been a bad choice for LeBron, but that stage show that they did with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, yeah, it was a little whack, but they did something similar to that for Kareem when he came to LA. And so what I'm saying, there was precedent set. Oscar Robertson, who was already a proven player in the league, the only thing he hadn't done was win a title. He comes to play with Kareem, and then they win a championship together. So stars matching up in order to win a title. Things like that. There's precedent for what we see today, but a lot of times we don't really get that perspective because, to be honest, a lot of the casual basketball fan doesn't know that kind of stuff. And how would you know unless you're watching a documentary, or if you're one of these guys that stay on used to watch NBA Classic all day. Shout out to my NBA Classic folks. You sit and watch that channel all day. You don't know that a lot of that stuff, flopping and all that kind of stuff, it happened years ago. Maybe it was, it's worse now. I don't know. don't know if it is or not. But there's nothing new. Is the point that I'm trying to make here. But anyway, so we wrapped up the sports weekend with Carolina and New England remaining undefeated. Cincinnati goes down last night to the Texans. I'm going to have to go back and watch that game. I got a lot of issues with DirecTV, but their Sunday NFL package, hello Finland, their Sunday NFL package is pretty sweet. You can go back and rewatch the games. I got to get on my NBA League Pass game here pretty shortly because I'm missing some week-to-week action that I want to see. I encourage everybody to do that. Buy the cable packages. Get Sunday NFL package, get your NBA League Pass, do whatever you got to do. Get all of the cable packages. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Go ahead and spend the money. Throw down the guap to get those cable packages. You'll be a better fan for it. But anyway, I'm going to go back and watch that Cincinnati game probably later on today to see exactly what happened. I saw J.J. Watt getting after it. What's up? I saw J.J. Watt getting after it a little bit. He hit the ground a couple of times, but I did not watch the game, so I'm not going to comment on what happened inside the game, but I do know that I saw the final score. I checked my fantasy scores first thing this morning. That's what we do when we, wake up after Monday Night Football. I was able to secure the victory on Sunday. I didn't really need Monday night, so. But anyway, how are your fantasy teams looking after Week 10? You should be locked and loaded. Your roster should be just about set to take you into the playoffs. I am struggling. In one of my leagues, I'm telling you, I have every handcuff running back. I think I have it on my squad. I've got James White, I've got Charkandrick West, and I've got Sean Drunk, which came to me as a blessing because I had signed Keith Gaskins at first. I picked up Keith Gaskins, but then it turns out they didn't use him. They used Sean Drunk. So he happened to still be on the waivers. I was able to grab him. So I'm not in great shape. With Edelman going down, I have Amendola. That's going to give him some more looks. Calvin seems to be still consistent, even though he's hobbling a little bit with that ankle, or is it a foot that's bothering him. Richard Rodgers for Green Bay is stepping up a little bit. And Eli seems to be getting into a rhythm. So, and he's found some new weapons. So that's a good. So I'm in decent shape. I'm still worried though because I didn't get both of my number one running backs went down. So relying on these backups to carry me through the playoffs and maybe through to the end to secure some payout from this league. I don't know. How about you guys? What is your fantasy roster looking like? Are you guys struggling? Are you guys, waiver wire happy like I am? Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to survive. I was able to get no action on the trade block this year, so I had to live on the wire, baby. And I'm doing pretty good. I'm number one in my division, but that doesn't really mean much. Most of us are right in that 6-4, 5-5 range. It's been a difficult year for a lot of teams because you had a lot of big-name injuries earlier in the year. And we're talking about injuries that some of these guys aren't going to come back to play NFL football until late in the year or getting ready for the playoffs. So that's not really much help for fantasy owners. But, we're enjoying this NFL season. We're enjoying the beginning of the NBA season. You could be looking for more Periscopes coming from the Pick and Roll podcast. Oh, yeah, and I'm going to leave you guys with this one, right? So yesterday, I believe it was Complex Mag and their website, they tried their best to flat out burn down the internet. They kept posting this story about, hey, do you feel like it's okay? What do you feel? How do you feel about people still listening to R. Kelly? Knowing what we know about R. Kelly, knowing what we know about what he has done in the past, okay? Hopefully it's in the past. Is it still okay to listen to R. Kelly? And those debates go on and on and on because the truth is we enjoy and celebrate a lot of people and a lot of entertainment that come from people who are deplorable people who probably should be in jail for the rest of their lives. We enjoy a lot of entertainment from people who are just disgusting human beings. That's just the truth. That's what we do. That if you go back and look, and then if we don't even go back into, some decades ago, we're finding out all kinds of stuff about some of our heroes, some of our most celebrated entertainers. I say all that to say this, and as a man with 3 teenage daughters, okay, look, it's okay either way. If you don't want to support R. Kelly's music and you don't want to listen to nothing he has to say, that's fine. You have you're more than justified to do and to say that. If you still like the music and you don't care, you want to listen to it anyway, yeah, that's fine too. But you cannot do so in a vacuum. Yeah, I know nobody has the right to tell you what you can and you cannot listen to. And that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you still cannot ignore the fact that the man is a pedophile. Okay? You just know what you're doing. Okay? And for those of you that don't even care, so a lot of you out there, and truth be told, it's a lot of you out there that don't care that he's a pedophile. It's a lot of you out there, men and women, who think it was okay for him to sleep with those girls. There's a lot of y'all out there. I know a few personally. A lot of y'all don't care. Like, hey, man, hey, that girl knew what she was doing when she went in there. See that? Now, like, look. Now, I really don't have any use for y'all, though. Because that's damaging. That's dangerous thinking. It's disgusting, really. And those people will expose themselves over time. There's a lot of y'all that don't have no problem with pedophilia after a certain age. There's a lot of y'all don't have a problem with it. Y'all are open about it too, which is strange to me. And you would be mad if it was your child. Yeah, you would. You would be mad if some 30-year-old man came sniffing up the rear end of your 14-year-old girl. Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. But because this didn't happen to you or your family, you still want to snap your fingers and step in the name of love. I feel you. I personally take this stance. When R. Kelly comes on the radio, if it's after... and this is kind of hypocritical. If the song was made after I found out about the video that he made, I don't listen to it. I know that's lame. But all the old like 12 play stuff, I'm rocking with that, man. I can't deny that stuff. That's horrible, and I'm laughing, but it's not nothing to laugh at all. Yeah, but I know how hypocritical that sounds and how hypocritical it is. We got to come to an agreement, people. I think it took us way too long to decide on whether or not the man was actually a pedophile or not. That was disgusting. It took us way too long to come together and say, that's a bad guy. We want to protect, to the bloody end. We protect people that we like. We protect musicians and artists and comedians and athletes that we like, or that do something for us, for, whatever walk of life you come from. We want to protect them, even when they're committing the most disgusting crimes known to man. Rapists, pedophiles, murderers. Like, hey man, hey, he ain't murder me. He ain't murder nobody I know. That's where we at, and that's where we at. So yeah, Complex tried to burn down the internet with that conversation, because that used to be a real hot button topic amongst a lot of black folk. But you know what? From what I could tell, it didn't really get much traction. I think we were busy. I think we were busy dealing with things in the sports world. I think we were busy following what went on out in Paris. And then, those of us were mad that we're paying attention to Paris versus Nigeria or Kenya. And those conversations can be healthy, I think. But we didn't have no time for no R. Kelly, man. That's probably a good thing. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and end the morning drive right now. As always, at PAR Podcast. Email me at pickarollpodcast at gmail.com. Excuse me. And hit me up, QMB810 on Twitter. Peace, y'all.